All right, reviews and more, back with another men's fragrance review. This is Ralph Lauren Elixir. Sorry, Ralph's Club by Ralph Lauren Elixir. So not the EDT, not the EDP, but the Elixir formulation. This came out about a year ago, but we got it at Marshall's. My wife happened to see it, and if you look at that first price, it was 70 bucks. Then it was marked down to like 50 something. Then it got marked down again to 30 something. And online, the notes are actually pretty nice, and the reviews aren't bad, so they were just trying to get rid of some stock, I guess. I don't know what Marshall's was doing, but they had a couple bottles of this, apparently. They were trying to get rid of it, and my wife grabbed it real fast, so 40 bucks. And we can't even find this on Joma Shop or Fragrance Net, some of the discounters online. So basically Macy's has it for like over 100 bucks, so good deal for us. But yeah, we're gonna jump right into it and go take a look at the notes real fast while I'm cracking this open. The top notes are cardamom, green mandarin, and grapefruit. So you might have a little bit of freshness off the top with a little bit of kind of some gourmandy flavors in there. Then it's orris flower, lavender, sage, and geranium. So we get some little floral notes in there, but a lot of aromatic herbs and spices kind of stuff with the sage and lavender. And then the final dry down is leather, olibanum. I'll look up what that is. I think it's like a resinous kind of smell. Patchouli, very, very big fan of patchouli. I like it. And balsam fir. So we got a very, very professional sounding fragrance based on these notes from Fragrantica. Let's see if they kind of hold true. So let's pop this open. Gotta love designers. Basic presentation. Let's take a look at this cap and bottle. All right. Very classy, very professional, very formal looking. There you go. Sprayer's already set to go that way. It says Elixir down there on the bottom. Very, very classic spray. No smell coming out of it, obviously, because it's never been sprayed before. And we're going to jump in and do a couple quick sprays and see what's going on with this thing. All right, got some basic paper. I'm going to test on the skin as well as on paper, but just to get an idea what's going on, we'll do paper first, and then about 30 or so minutes later, I'll record a second chunk of video, and that'll be kind of the dry down explanation once I get through it. Now, I kind of already explained the dry down a little bit, but who the heck knows if that's going to be accurate. Pop, pop. So that, ooh, okay. Yeah, cardamom. Definitely got cardamom in the opening. That's pretty plain. Very nice though. Very, it's not super, it's not a freshy. So it's got like a very, very dry green kind of citrus to it. That's probably why it says green mandarin, not just mandarin on the notes. So very, very green, very pleasant. There's nothing wrong with this on the opening. So opening, big thumbs up on the opening. Opening's great. Very crisp, very clean, very professional. Kind of has like the same kind of citrus profile as like Terre de Hermes, that kind of opening in citrus. Not perfectly, obviously, because that's got a lot of Velveter also in there and the dry down and stuff that you kind of get right off the bat, but there's no Velveter in this one at all. But yeah, definitely get grapefruit and mandarin. I'll do on the skin, see if maybe we get a different kind of presentation or different kind of smell right off the bat. Sometimes the cardamom on my skin doesn't go very hard, but when I do the citruses, it goes really hard. I'll do 3. That's way too much for a normal day for me, but we're testing it, so let that dry down real fast, and then we'll take some big old sniffs. Yeah, I like the cap. I like the fact that it kind of comes off like that and stays hinged on there. That's pretty cool. Got all the little Ralph Lauren influence on it. This is a fingerprint magnet though, so if you're OCD and you don't like seeing your colognes have fingerprints on their bottles, yeah, you might want to keep a rag nearby because this thing collects fingerprints no matter how clean your hands may or may not be. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's take a big whiff. Oh yeah, on the skin, it smells way more citrusy, especially the grapefruit. It's like the rind. So it's like, imagine like someone, no one ever does this, but imagine someone just started chewing up a grapefruit rind. That's kind of what you're getting here. Very crisp, very clean, not sweet at all off the skin. So off the skin, this is not a sweet, fresh kind of professional fragrance. This is a very dry, crisp, clean fragrance with no kind of really even a hint of sweetness to it, off of my skin at least. Very good. I'm going to check back, and as things dry down, I'm going to kind of explain what I'm getting off my arm at least, and we'll go from there. All right, so we're back. We're deep in the heart notes or middle notes of this particular fragrance. And what I'm getting a lot of is lavender. It's a lavender bomb. Once that opening, opening of a citrus comes through and kind of fades away, you end up with a lot of lavender. But you also have the orris, which is basically just like a root. And it's very earthy, and that's not inaccurate. You get kind of like, it's almost like a woody scent to it, and that might be some of those base notes, the frankincense in particular, kind of coming in. So it's super professional so far. Like, this is a very nice professional scent. I took it to my wife. She's laying in bed while I'm doing this review. I held my arm in front of her. After 3 sprays, she was like, "Oh, that smells really good. I like that. That smells like," she smells really ritzy, like basically rich people folk kind of smell. It smells very, very nice, very high end. So she said that, and that was the 3 sprays on my arm. And normally she's kind of offended by too much fragrance. So this is not something that I would say you're going to overspray too easily with. You can probably fill a room up and offend some people if you wanted to, but you can probably spray yourself down with this pretty well, and it's not going to do too much damage to your reputation in public. But so far, those middle notes, a lot of lavender and a lot of that earthy root kind of smell to it, and it's very, very crisp, clean. Again, I think that's going to be the theme of this particular fragrance is crisp, clean, professional is kind of what we're going for here, if I had to guess. Waiting for the full dry down so I can talk about those base notes and which ones kind of hit my nose the most. Check back in just a minute. All right, so after about 30 minutes, the dry down effectively is complete, and what we end up with is pretty accurate to what's listed on the Ralph Lauren website as well as Fragrantica and other sites like that. You get a very, very crisp, clean, obvious note of leather. You also get a little bit of patchouli. It's faint. It's not a heavy patchouli. So if you're someone who's like, ugh, patchouli, you might still be able to tolerate this one. If you love patchouli, you'll notice it a little bit, but it's not taking primacy compared to the leather. And honestly, when you have balsam fir in there, so basically like a pine tree kind of note, the patchouli kind of gets wrapped up in that, and you get a little bit of frankincense, get some kind of woody-ish notes in there. And overall, really great for me. This is a very formal fragrance. This is very nice, very, very classy. Is it a safe blind buy? If you're over 30, sure. If you're a younger man, maybe not. This might be kind of like a special occasion, formal occasion kind of thing for you. So if you're younger, I mean, if you're in high school, no, you don't need this in high school. This isn't gonna turn anybody's head except maybe a teacher who's like, why is there someone who smells like a 30-year-old man in here? Like, it's not an old person fragrance, but it's definitely more formal than a young man really has need for. Now, if you're in a professional setting or if you're going on like an evening out, sure. As far as time when you wear this, fall, spring, I wouldn't wear this in summer. It's a little bit too smoky, for lack of a better term. That leather note in there is kind of strong. Might not be the best thing in the summer heat, but definitely a very nice nighttime fragrance. Again, this screams like wearing a suit or a tuxedo to an event. It's a very, very, very well done fragrance. Every note breaks down. You get the top notes that are really fresh, but not sweet. Then you get that middle, all those aromatics in there, and then it does dry down to a nice, very crisp leather smell. And overall, very, very positive review on this one. I like it a lot. Love the presentation, like the look, like the concentration, because it's gonna last for quite a while. But yeah, this is a great buy if you can get it for a good price. If you don't overpay for it, obviously. We got a really good deal on it, like $39. But yeah, great items. This is Ralph's Club Elixir, and that's the review, guys. Thank you so much for watching.